I'd like to call the February 5th, 2019 meeting into order. The invocation will be given by Councilman Landig.
Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this day. Help us to use good judgment for the business at hand and guide us in wisdom and a continuing sense of truth and fairness for the community we represent.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Landig.
Here.
Mr. Marne.
Here.
Mr. Blake.
Here.
Mr. Donovan.
Here.
Mrs. Dowling. Mr. Kirchner.
Here.
Mr. Krieger.
Here. Approval of minutes for the work session, January 15th, 2019.
Move to approve. Second.
Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Landig.
Here.
Mr. Marne.
Here.
Mr. Blake.
Or yes, sorry.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling. Yes. Mr. Kirchner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes. And the regular meeting minutes for January 15th, 2019.
Move to approve. Second.
Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Landig.
Yes.
Mr. Marne.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling. Yes. Mr. Kirchner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes. The presentation by Lake Tran is not going to happen tonight. The Chief Executive Officer could not make it. Public hearings. Have none. Table legislation, we have none. New legislation, ordinance number 19-0-010.
An ordinance revising the codified ordinances of the City of Mentor 2006 as amended by adopting current replacement pages and declaring an emergency.
Council,
Move to suspend. Second.
Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Landig.
Yes.
Mr. Marne.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling. Yes. Mr. Kirchner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
Move to approve. Second.
Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Landig.
Yes.
Mr. Marne.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling. Yes. Mr. Kirchner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes. Second reading, we have none. Third reading, we have none. Favorite part of the night, manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, we have one open cut pavement request. It is from Dominion Energy for work related to attaching anode protection to the gas main on Johnny Cake Ridge Road.
Move to approve. Second.
Julie, wait a second. You have a question?
Yeah, it's just a
I'm
comment.
sorry.
It's a newly paved street, and I think there's other means to accomplish anode protection for the gas company.
I withdraw my, my move to approve.
Okay. City manager, you want to make any comments on that, or?
Well, they're asking for an 18-inch diameter hole cut. It's not a large, but I certainly understand the councilman's point. I don't know what other methods or means would provide that same level of protection. I would certainly, if you want to defer this, we can contact them. and
Let's
ask
defer it and ask them if they can do a boring rather than an open cut.
them. We'll give them a call.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Landy. Clerk's correspondence. I'm sorry, what? Oh, the rest of his report. I keep forgetting about that. I did that last time.
Thank you, Council. Applications for the written police officer's entrance exam are being accepted until this Friday, February 8th at 4:30 at the Civil Service Office located in the City Manager's office right here at City Hall. Information can be found on the City of Mentor's website. Temporary pavement markings were placed on February 4th and 5th for the new signal at the City Market Project on Tyler Boulevard and Center Street. On February 4th, the traffic signals were placed into the flashing mode, and we expect that they'll be in full operation by about the 13th of the month. The contractor continues to work on wiring the replacement signal on Tyler Boulevard at Center Street intersection, and paving is scheduled to occur there just as soon as the asphalt plant's open for the year. City of Mentor and Nowaka will host a public meeting tomorrow evening, Wednesday, February 6th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. in the second floor conference room at the Mentor Civic Center right here at City Hall to gather feedback from local residents on an update to the Lake County bike map. The previous version of the map was distributed by NOACA several years ago. As part of NOACA's overall work program, they attempt to update and redistribute bike maps for the 5-county region every few years. An open house style meeting will be held to gather input from users of various skill levels as to the suitability of roadways within Lake County for bicycle travel. Tomorrow is also Democracy Day in the city. Pursuant to Chapter 119 of the Mentor Municipal Code, the city will hold a public hearing the city is required to hold a public hearing every 2 years, which began in 2015, to consider the impact of political contributions of corporations, unions, PACs, and super PACs on the city. That hearing will be held tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. in this council chamber. The Unveiled art exhibit opening reception is this Friday, February 8th, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. in the lobby of the Mentor Municipal Center. This is a free event where you can meet the artists, Dr. Ralph J. Hahn and Pat Green. And then finally, we have a few businesses that we want to welcome to our community. Skoke Studio at 8789 Mentor Avenue, Danbury Senior Living at 9150 Lakeshore Boulevard, and CW Trains at 8815 East Avenue. We thank them for their investment and wish them great success. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Clerk's correspondence.
Council is in receipt of Mentor Municipal Court month-end report for December 2018, and also a liquor permit transfer from Convenient Food Mart, Inc. to SAI Mentor LLC at 7488 Mentor Avenue, Unit A. And that is all.
Thank you. Commission committee reports. We have the meeting minutes for the Municipal Planning Commission of December 20th, 2018, and the Charter Review Committee, January 3rd, 2019. Old business? None. New business? None.
President?
Yes.
Mr.
Martin.
Landay brings up a good point. A lot of times when we repave our roads, we have to do these cuts due to people outside of our community. Years ago, remember, Swiggs, you'd remember, wasn't it 1 year that they were responsible, that company was responsible for that open cut, and then didn't we increase it to 2 years? Is it still 2 years?
When a private entity does a pavement cut, we require a 1-year maintenance bond.
Okay, so it's just 1 year.
But with the utility companies, we work with them a little differently. So we basically hold them responsible forever for their work, as long as it's applicable.
Why don't we take a look at and re-review our policy to make sure it's up to date and it meets our needs currently, because it's something that we haven't done in a long time. Because there's nothing worse, we spend all summer, sealing our roads so water doesn't get in them. And here now we're making cuts in our brand-new roads, and what do you got to do? You got to seal that road now, and we didn't have to seal it if there wasn't a cut in it. So, it just seems like a big go-around, but, okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No new business. Persons before council. All right, I see we've got quite a few requests here. I would ask, since we have 6 requests here from the same organization, I assume wanting to talk on the same topic from what I see, that could you have one representative make the presentation? Yes. All right, very good. Come to the podium and state your name and address.
My name is Scott Panchik, owner of CrossFit Mentality, 6098 Pinecone Drive here in Mentor.
All right, Scott, and before you go any further, I want the law director to make a comment on this, okay?
Well, obviously, the gentleman can say whatever is
Right.
on
No,
his
I
mind,
understand
but it's probably not likely, when we're talking about tax issues, that we're able to answer many questions. Tax information is quite confidential pursuant to law, so just to, temper any expectations that we'll be able to answer most questions if the gentleman has any specific.
Also, don't we have some legal issue currently?
When it
But we
comes-
don't know which one, but
When it comes to tax collection, we've got no shortage of cases, and
we have one by
so
CrossFit.
no, I can't say that.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I can't disclose any specific
Okay.
cases that we may have unless it's been filed of record.
Okay, thank you. All right,
sir.
Scott, sorry.
It's okay. So my name is Scott Panchik. I'm the owner of CrossFit Mentality. I was a health and physical education teacher here in Mentor, a football coach in this district for 3 years. I became a CrossFit Games athlete and stepped away from teaching in the school district to open my own CrossFit gym. in hopes to share my passion for fitness and health with the entire community. I chose to open my gym here in Mentor because I was impressed with the district's athletic reputation and the support the city had for these programs. It is the kind of support I want to raise my family around in a city where health and community are important. Recently, we found out we were liable for an admissions tax. We fall under the category of a fitness salon, grouped with circuses, motion picture theaters, amusement parks, nightclubs, cabarets, and other places where any form of entertainment, diversion, recreation, or amusement is offered. CrossFit programming is not cheap, and neither is our gym. There are multiple gyms throughout this area that you can go to in Painesville, Willoughby, Mayfield, and not have to pay this tax. Implementing this tax on our facility will give members reason to attend another CrossFit gym that does not have this tax. I just want you to know that we give back to this community. We've raised thousands of dollars for breast cancer awareness and donated it to families here in Mentor who needed it. We have multiple food drives that provide children here in Lake County meals to make it through the weekend. We've held community workouts in which 100% of the proceeds were donated to charities like Forbes House. We've collected gifts for families at Christmas. We've invested into this community. It disappoints me that the support of our members and business have for the city of Mentor is not being reciprocated. I understand that we have to pay taxes. We all do. But we are not a circus. We are not a cinema or a sporting event. We do not sell tickets. This is a lifestyle. We are making this community better. It is our hope that this code from 1969 is updated so that we can feel the city of Mentor holds the same values for health, wellness, and community that I thought it did when I opened CrossFit Mentality. That's
Okay,
all.
appreciate that, Scott. Obviously, we'll take a look into this. You know, a lot of these things come up on persons before council. You know, we've never had a call or anybody contact anybody on council, and at least that I'm aware of. Otherwise, we would have already looked into it. But we will definitely look into it. If the surrounding communities don't, it's a valid point.
Okay.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
69, 50 years?
Mr. President, if there's no other business, I would like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session to consult with the law director related to impending litigation.
Second?
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling? Yes. Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Because of the admission.
Mr. President, I would move that we go back into regular council session.
Second. Sorry.
Julie, call the roll.
Mr. Landig?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling? Yes. Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Move to adjourn.
Second.